of Hell's Kitchen. In this week's episode of Hell's Kitchen, we have the last chef standing challenge take place in the competition. The 11 remaining chefs competing, and while the chefs one team has a continue with their winning challenges, one chef completely explodes at one of the other contestants and even threatens to quit the competition. No, and also the Cook for Your Life challenge takes place in this episode, leaving one chef going home at the end of the episode. We've got so much to talk about in this week's Hell's Kitchen recap and review. So I just want to apologise for the delay in these videos because I've been so busy lately with Hell's Kit with the Masked Singer UK, with the Masked Singer on 70 Special, the voice, basically everything. It's just been such a it's been such a but we're back into the show now. I'm so glad I'm doing this. I'm sorry if this is really late, but I think the good news is that there's actually no Hell's Kitchen or Masked Singer this week. So what my plans are is I'm gonna do, and also TMY. So I'm gonna do the Hell's Kitchen review now. I'm gonna straight after this I'm gonna do the Masked Singer Trolls Night ranking. Then I'll do my video on the Masked Singer costumes, and also I want to do my predictions for the rest of the series. So I'm really hoping, because I got an idea who I want to win, and then or maybe make the finals. But this is not all this episode, so I think we should just get started because we got so much to talk about in this episode. So we're gonna get straight. You tell me lie off that you can't really see, but we're gonna get straight into this because with the challenge. So the challenge was for the if I found no, hang on, it's just okay. Heads up. So the remaining chefs were tasked to be preparing 5 popular international dishes such as Chinese, Mexican, Indian, Thai, and Italian. And with every 5 minutes passed, Gordon would actually force a chef out of the kitchen, leaving and verbally communicate directions to the other chefs. So I think it was such a cool twist. Now, with the 6 members in the red team and the 5 in the blue, Donya actually sat out in this challenge. So Atoya and Jonathan were the first 2 to leave, followed by Lee and Demir, Carmen and Jason the next, Sammy and Devin, then Sandra and Ryan were the remaining chefs standing. And Carmen was basically the whole drama of this whole episode, because which I'll get to in a minute. But she was really at Atoya. I think Atoya was trying to communicate, and then she was just all like, "Shut up," or something. Well, I can't exactly remember. I need to read that, but I definitely remember it. But anyways, I can't exactly what the mashups were, but all I know is that I can't remember. But again, spoiler alert. The red team lost again, and it was mainly because of Atoya's rice, because it was completely undercooked, and Gordon even said it's not like her, and that's really because of Carmen. Really, she just kept screaming orders to everybody when there was other, which we'll get to in a minute. I know you said that, but the men once again won another challenge, and I think the men are really doing well this series. I think maybe some losers there, but still the challenges they're doing amazing. So the blue team won, and the red team are doing the punishment. Now we've got to talk about this between Atoya and Carmen, because I was just shocked to see this. Because after when everyone went to the dorms, Atoya absolutely lost it at Carmen, because she felt like she was being all against her. She would think she was being really rude. And I've just got to say something about Carmen, because there is something about Carmen I just can't stand. I think because the issue with Carmen is that she wants to impress Gordon and wants to win, but she doesn't care who she steps on in the process. Who she's at, if that makes sense. And even in the first week, where she kept telling the other contestants on their scallop dishes, "Oh, you need salt. You need salt." She was just basically saying that just so she can get her dish up to Gordon. no, you could honestly like that was so obvious. I could tell, and she even said my dish is going to be up there no matter what. Thank you. Thankfully, it didn't. And this is this exact same with this week. She didn't want to be the one not in the kitchen, and she kept screaming the instructions for her dish when where there was like four other dishes like then were instructed too, and as a result, this didn't help her team, and she just like and I felt and 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 I just another thing about it's just that I just think she's just a rude person in general. I just like I just can't I just so do not like her, and actually yeah, and like and I just I just think she's just basically rude, and I don't want to sound this in a rude way when I say this, but I have a feeling she's got something. She's just been like she's just been at like black people, and I don't mean to say that in like a rude or upsetting way, but she was literally like, "Who are you? Get." Let me just see what she said. She was like, "Oh, I'm talking now. Get it." I mean, like she was like, "I'm talking now. It's my. You go away." And I'm like, honestly, what, Carmen? Really? Like, I believe she was like that with Renisha as well. Maybe not the exact same, but she had like they still had like it's just like I just think, and as I said, and I just think she's a rude person in general, and I think that will also make a really awful leader. And honestly, I felt really really bad for her, Toy. Like what was she supposed to do when Carmen was already screaming over everybody? If it had been like a whole back and forth, it would have held like a whole back and forth situation with the clock ticking. It would have been a cluster mess. And and I just want to see her go. Like, I know she's probably not going to go home, but I just want her to go home as soon as possible because I can't stand Carmen whatsoever. I want her out of the competition. She's absolutely like I just can't stand her. She basically makes Jason look good because the thing with Jason, like I've said, he's cocky, he's overconfident, and he can be an ass sometimes, but but he actually is trying to be a leader, or at least a team player, which I respect. But Carmen's not showing that. She's just giving out orders, and she's not like. I just can't go on. Anyways, and then even then, a toy was in the dorm was even thinking of quitting, and what I found really kind of like surprising was none of the red team even bothered to check on her. Like I just found that like so like that's your teammate that she could be quitting. Why don't you go look, speak to her, ask her if she's okay? But I think Donya said something like, it's not her fault, or like we can't be a team without her, or something like. I can't exactly remember what she said, but I think she said something like that. Which okay, I can give Donya a pass, but still, like no one went to check on her, which is like really you just letting your team, you just leaving your team member behind. It's just like so like I don't know. But anyways, thankfully Demir came to the rescue, and she gave her really really heartfelt speaking to. She he told her, you're an amazing individual, you're an amazing chef, you deserve to be here. This whole thing wouldn't be the same without you here. You're making your kids proud. I totally respect you, and all of that. And they hugged out. And I just think Demir's really got my heart in this season. I think I just adore Demir so much, and the past, and the same goes for the competition. It's like he has been dominating everything. He's been dominating ever since the pasta incident, the single dish challenge. He really has came out swinging. Like in the last, on the first the service 2 weeks ago where Brad left, he was really vocal. He vocally led the team, and in the previous episode, he was the only good chef on that night, where everyone almost had, I think maybe Jonathan, either him or Jonathan didn't even make a mistake, but he actually led the team, and Gordon said that in the dorm, in the dorms, in the pantry. Yeah, the pantry. And he said, you're the only one who had a voice, you're the only one who had passion, you had heart. So I just really and I really think this man is going to win the whole thing. I just really, really, truly think he could win this whole thing. And And I think, he's kind of really come out as like the proper underdog now, and he's really fighting for his position. Um, and I just think it's amazing to see that happen. And like, it's just amazing. I think he's just an amazing individual, an amazing person. And I'm betting this again. I'm betting my whole life that it's going to come down. It's going to come down to Demir versus Jonathan. I'm absolutely betting my life on that. And I just truly think that's going to happen. And I actually thought Ryan was going to be like in the final two, but I think because of like, I think his anger could lead him to a downward spiral, maybe a little bit later on, maybe before the back jacket round. But I really don't. But I do not want that to happen because I think Ryan's so talented. I just don't. I hope his anger doesn't get like overshadowed. I don't want him to like absolutely crack under the pressure and just, it wouldn't be that good of a look for him. So I really hope Ryan can bounce back a little bit and maybe come back up. But I really do. I really, really think it's going to come down to Jameer and Jonathan in the final two, with with both of them in the final and either one winning. I really think that. Um, but let's just get into the next part because the red team had to do like take out the rubbish bins, and I think that and it was just trash day is the worst day. I think delivery day and trash day are the worst too. Um, but and then the blue team went out to have a meal, and I think had a massage. As you can see with Chef Jay there, Chef Jay's there, and I think they had a nice time. And I think it's just amazing. It was really nice to see them bond together. Um, it's cool. Hang on. But let's just get into the Cook for Your Life challenge, because we got quite a bit to talk about there, which is so Gordon actually spoke to the chefs, asking in his office which chefs are the weakest, and I think and this resulted in the Cook for Your Life challenge, and I know you can see them, but I'm going to add them on the screen because I like to have them on the screen. But anyways, the chefs were in the Cook for Your Life challenge were Sandra and Natalia from the red team, and Devin and Jason from the blue team. Um, so they had 45 minutes to create any dish they want, but the filet mignon, I think. Filet mignon with the main protein. Now Devon slices fed it too early, and he tried to return it to the oven after realizing his mistakes, and the chefs were watching him in the dorms, nervously betraying him like for doing so. A toy's puree was not strange enough, which was leading to an unpleasant grainy texture. And on the other hand, her fillet was cooked nicely to his standards. Jason chose to cut his fillet instead of like presenting it whole, which did give him some criticism. And I think, I can't remember what he said afterwards. He wasn't like arguing, but he was just being a little bit cocky, I think, which he has been, and he's been a bit more overconfident, which is kind of like his ego. And Sandra's dish was like, I think he said something like that's come on. Her fillet was said by Gordon was never anything he had like that before. But in the end, Jason and Sandra were the first two to go back to the dorms, leaving Atoya and Devon. And in the end, Devon was sent home. And I found this was a pretty fair and an understandable elimination, I think, because um, I think because of the last service, he absolutely was a disaster on the meat station, and he kind of crashed and burnt. So it's kind of understandable why he went home. I can understand that. But Devon went home, meaning the final 10 is merging together, and I'm so excited. But anyways, that is it for this week's Hell's Kitchen review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'm so sorry for the delay, almost a week. I've been so busy. I had two different versions, but this is actually a new screen recorder I'm using called Veed.io. So yeah, but who do you think is going to be going home next week? Now, I've said this person a few times, and I have been wrong, but I'm very confident about who I think is going home. and that is Sandra. I just think Sandra's going to be the one going home. Because number one, she's been nominated 4 times, and if she gets nominated the 5th time, she's going to be out here 100%. I think she has been kind of like, I think her emotions are getting, in the way. We saw in the service, one of the services, she was like, where Gordon said, I think I can't, but she was in like flustered, and I think, I just think she could be an ally in the team, and looking in the trailer, it's going to be the most chaotic episode yet, or service yet. So it looks like the red team are going to absolutely like have a disastrous service, but there's no really mention of the blue team having a disastrous service too. But like, I think the blue team may have a good service actually this time, with Atoya maybe going on the blue team, because I actually think she might get swapped to the blue team. I think it would make sense. But that's really it for this review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Post notifications turned on. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time for next week's Hell's Kitchen recap and review.